I'm scared and terrified to be excessive and too much, but I'm also scared of being overlooked. And you are more than enough than you realize. You are so enough. The hard part is really believing it. God made me wonderfully made. This healing journey is really about unlearning the lies I absorbed from someone who couldn't love me properly. These are the things that I really do ask myself, things that I really do reflect on. There's a strange kind of heartbreak that happens when you're being told that you're either too much or not enough, or even worse, both. That's the wound I'm personally working on myself, and maybe you are too. Let's talk about the trauma of fighting for someone's love who's emotionally unavailable, and what it does to your sense of self. So I dated someone who had a lot of avoidant traits or patterns, and I constantly found myself feeling like I was not enough, but also too much at the same time. And it's like this weird mind twist and confusion within yourself, because I was always over-explaining, over-analyzing, and it felt like I was earning their love or trying to. I'm sure you felt like that before, right? Feeling like you're never saying enough, but then also you're saying too much, doing too much, or that maybe you weren't doing enough to keep them interested. Like, why are they withdrawing? Do I need to double down on my efforts? Have you felt that before? Because if so, this video is exactly for you. Because there's something that's just so powerful in the worst and best way when you deal with that inconsistent love, because it creates this confusion, right? Which grew into a wound of me thinking and internalizing the thought of maybe I'm the problem. But the truth is, you are perfect the way that you are. No matter what has happened to you, what you've gone through, it's true. But the problem we tend to all struggle with is believing it. And that's what I'm dealing with right now. That wound, that core wound of feeling like I'm not enough, but then also feeling like I'm not enough and too much at the same time. It's like constantly wanting to give so much love, but then also holding yourself back because you're afraid that the other person might not respond well to all that energy or all that thoughtfulness or all that creativity or all that just love that you want to give. Don't get me wrong, there's a time and place for it. You don't buy flowers, bake cookies, or a cake on the first date. But as you're already establishing interest and communicating, there's still, at least I can speak for myself, this feeling where I'm like on a horse and I'm telling myself, hold on, slow down. I know you want to do more, but maybe you should just do less for now. And it's painful because it causes you to be in this space where you're constantly overanalyzing your own actions. You're overanalyzing your words, thoughts, and then at the same time, you're kind of dimming your light. You're kind of shrinking yourself. Not because anybody made you feel like you should in that new person or place or thing or environment you're in, but the previous place or environment or place or relationship you're in made you do that. You had to dim your light. You had to shrink yourself. And it's hard to kind of break that pattern or unprogram your thought pattern and process of, wait, maybe I can just be my true authentic self. Maybe my true authentic self isn't too much or not enough. That person just wasn't the right one. It's like you weren't asking for too much. You were just asking the wrong person. And think about it from the perspective of, if you can love the wrong person that much, just imagine how much you can love the right one. Because that wound of feeling like you're not enough or too much, it creates this confusing tension. Because at the same time, I'm scared and terrified to be excessive and too much, but I'm also scared of being overlooked, of not being able to earn the love that I'm fighting for, but realizing that love isn't conditional. Although it might have felt like that in my previous relationship or circumstances, but that's not the truth. That's not how it should be. It affects my current dating life deeply because I'm constantly trying to tell myself that the way that I wanted to be and the way that I was okay and was enough. But it's hard to embrace that narrative or to embrace that story when you're still healing. But recognizing it is a great first step. And what's strange is that compliments kind of hurt in this dating season. I start hearing people compliment me and say, "You're so thoughtful. You notice the little things. You really listen." And instead of embracing it, I find myself doubting it. Because I wonder, am I naturally this way? Is this who I am? Or is this just a trauma response of when I had to work so hard to be loved? So now I just naturally, without even a second thought, notice the little things, acknowledge the little actions, become thoughtful, do the things that they didn't ask for, but because I was listening and paying attention, I'm able to kind of give them a version of their love that they didn't know that they needed or wanted to begin with. And that's part of the healing journey and the process in general. It's like me trying to differentiate, am I hyper vigilant or is this really my genuine heart? Just thinking out loud. Because the line between authentic empathy and trauma that was born and kind of over functioning is a little blurred sometimes for me. Because I don't think about it, but then I kind of have to look within myself and ask, is this my survival response? Is this how I react when I enter survival mode? Because everybody acts differently and reacts differently. Have I been functioning in that manner after my last relationship hurt me so deeply? And I catch myself reading into tones, silences, micro expressions, not always out of care, but maybe out of fear of being rejected again. It's exhausting, but I'm learning to pause, observe, and ask, is this coming from love or is this coming from fear? And that's how I'm able to get more clarity as to if I am who I say I am. Always self-reflecting and finding healthier ways to self-regulate and soothe myself. Because the healing process is about naming the parts of your healing. Identifying what it is, where your weaknesses are, areas where you want to grow, and being clear as to where you want to be and where you want to go. Sensitivity is not a flaw. And don't let anybody ever tell you that. Sensitivity is a superpower. If you're able to feel more than the average, to see more than the average, maybe even read into more than the average, that's a reflection of the depth and the size of your heart. So no, it's not a flaw. It's a misdiagnosed strength. And don't you ever forget that. Because deep care is a gift, not a performance. It's a gift. Because you're learning to give without begging, right? To love without losing yourself. And to stay rooted in who you are. Not in who you had to become in order to survive someone else's avoidance or someone else's scrutiny, someone else's judgment. Let's dive into scripture. Psalm 139 verse 13 through 14 says, For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. This scripture reminds me that I am, at my core, my true authentic self, my sensitivity level, my attentiveness, my heart, all those things that make up the person that you see in front of you, as well as reflecting on yourself, is not too much. It's just enough. And you are more than enough than you realize. You are so enough. The hard part is really believing it. Because God doesn't make mistakes. I wasn't wired this way by accident. Even if someone in my past made me feel like I was too much to handle or not enough for them to stay, God made me wonderfully made. So maybe this healing journey is really about unlearning the lies I absorbed from someone who couldn't love me properly, and relearning the truth about how God sees me. Wow. So that being said, this was pretty insightful for me because I was speaking out loud from like a therapeutic perspective. These are things that I really do ask myself, things that I really do reflect on in terms of my past behaviors, my current behaviors, past seasons, current seasons, all these different variables and components that add to our journey, our walk, as well as who we are and who we are becoming. So I hope this was helpful. If you're in this healing journey yourself, please comment below. Share what you learned. What did you resonate with? Where are you going with your healing journey? And most importantly, if you feel like you're alone, I'm here to remind you that you're not. Join our healing community. Link is in the description. Free 7-day trial, modules, materials, as well as access to other people in that similar journey. We have over 1,200 people in this community, and it's growing by the day, growing by the second. It's beautiful, it's phenomenal, and I hope to see you in there. That being said, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for your support. Peace from D's.